What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Hope all y'all are having a great day today. If this is your first time here, my name's Josh, and I do tech reviews, PC builds, stuff like that, you know what I mean? So if you enjoy the content, hit that thumbs up. If you really enjoy it, hit that subscribe button. Anyways, jumping over to our case, we are doing a custom loop in this. I had to wait for parts, man, so just remember this. When you're doing a custom loop, just have patience, because there's always going to be a hiccup. There's always going to be something you need. And I actually ended up on performance PCs. I paid next day shipping, and it ended up getting it 4 days later after paying almost $100 for shipping, dude. So anyways, we decided to go with the 5000D because I had the O11 Air Mini and I was going to try to do a build in that. And man, I just could not get the layout right, especially with an air-cooled Strix 4090. It's just so fucking big. It literally comes out to here in this one. But anyways, I think I'm gonna go with the FLT 240 on the back, and it has a D5 pump on it. I'm probably gonna have to end up putting these little brackets right here to bring it out a little bit. So we're gonna kind of check the layout of the case and see exactly where we want to do it at. So we could put a 360 up in the top and run the tubes, I don't know, down this way across. But see, the 4090 is going to actually make it a lot harder than it normally would be, especially if you just had your graphics card water cooled. It'd be so much easier. But I just felt like I already spent so much on the card that it does well on air cooling. I can OC it and everything, and it's just not super hot. It doesn't go above like 70°C. That's like the maximum I've ever seen it. So I think that we're just going to keep it on air for now, at least. Maybe in the future we'll add it to the loop, but right now we're just going to keep it on air. So if I keep the holes over here, I'll have to bring that all the way across to here. So it'll have to be like a out, up, left, right. So it'll be kind of like a S. And then this one could come down and go straight to the CPU, or come down over and straight to the CPU. I'm just trying to think, man. I don't know what to do here. Or I could put it in the front of the case and run it out, over, down, over, in. Because this is the inlet, this is the outlets. I'm trying to think, man. I don't know. This is gonna be rough. We did get, I wanted to show you guys this. We got the LCD TL Lee and Lee fans. These are dope, man. I really like them. The only bad thing about it is if you want to run two connected and then put a second one over here, you can't do that because the cable that comes with it, you can't use the ones that come with the regular ones. You have to use the specific ones that come with these, and it only comes with one cable to connect them, which is pretty crazy. But I felt like you should have 3 cables in case you want to run them in different spots. But I don't know, maybe that's something they can improve on. I don't know. So I do have a couple different thermal pastes. I ended up getting the MX6. I got the old trusty MX4 just to have. I want to do a cool video where I compare all of them. I got the Thermal Grizzly Cryonaut Extreme as well, the pink one. So we're going to either go with the MX6 or the Thermal Grizzly. I think I'm going to go with the Thermal Grizzly because you don't have to replace it as often. And this is a little bit more viscosity, I guess you could say. It's just a little bit more loose. But the Thermal Grizzly, it's a little harder, so you have to use more of it to get it to really spread because it sticks. Anyways, let's get this CPU block installed. So I went with the Velocity 2 Quantum LGA 1700. Decent little water block though, it's not bad. Hopefully it'll do well. We're gonna find out, huh? Anyways, let's get the water block installed and see how we can plan this loop. Alright, so the loop orientation that I got going on is coming out of the reservoir. This is the outlet into the CPU. For the outlet of the CPU, going up into the radiator, then coming out of the radiator back into the reservoir. I was gonna go from the radiator to the CPU, but I don't know, I think it looks cleaner doing this. These bends were a little bit hard. This is my first time bending, so y'all gonna have to bear with me. But right now we're gonna check the pressure, see if we got any leaks. I'm gonna get it up to green. Oh shit. Alright guys, so we finally got it done. It definitely was a hell of a learning experience. It was my first time, so you're gonna have to bear with me, but the final product is right here behind me. I'm super happy with it. As you will know by the video, I had quite a few mistakes. A couple things that I would point out if you're doing this for your first time: definitely get a deburr tool, and also I believe Primo Chill or Bits Power, a couple of different companies sell them, but they go on the end of a drill and you can kind of just trim the tubing with that, because I kept having to go back, saw it with the hand saw, then sand it with 3 different types, and then come back in and hit it with a wet sand of a fine grit to make it nice and soft so it didn't cut the O-rings. Which I probably didn't have to do that much, but it's my personal build, so I wanted it to be like on point. But yeah, anyways, it was a hell of a process. One thing that I will say, don't be scared of it though, man. So many people are like really scared of doing custom loops and stuff, and everybody's like, oh, go with PETG if you're gonna be bending tubes. Dude, I went with acrylic and I messed up 1 bend out of every single piece that I had. So as long as you're like smart and you have some common sense, you'll be just fine bending the tubes. Don't hold it like this far away from the heat, because it's gonna bubble up and melt and all kind of stuff. You want to be able to rotate it right, nice. And I kept it around 4 to 6 inches away from the top of the heat gun, and it worked out really well for me. If you have like, okay, so I did do this, and I know this is not a good thing to do. I corrected 1 bend, and then I put the tube back into it. But if you can't get the tube back in, throw a little tiny bit of dish soap on there and it'll slide right in. And then you can kind of, you know, go back over it and get it to bend just a little bit more. Like say you're trying to do a right angle and it's a little bit up because you let go of it too quick before it completely cooled down and it kind of went up a little bit. And a lot of people say acrylic doesn't do that, but I promise you, if you don't hold it in the perfect angle until it cools, it will definitely bend back out a little bit because like gravity is pulling it out. That was the normal shape of it. That's just a couple of the pointers. Like I said, deburr tool would have came in clutch. I mean, that would have helped trim it, but that drill bit is like definitely a must. I'm gonna grab one the next time I do any type of cooling, which I'm probably gonna do my son's build. I gave him my older 12900K and 3080 build. I had it in the Meshroom S, so we're gonna try to do a small ITX water cooled build in that. And I'm gonna try to get a CPU block that has kind of like a pump reservoir in it already, which I've already got one in mind. It's real cheap. It's like it's the Alpha Cool Eyes Bearer LT or something like that. But yeah, so I will be doing another one. I may use soft tubing in that, but I don't know. It's so small that like, you know, if you're like doing a certain bend, you might get a kink in the hose. So I think I'm probably gonna go with hard tubing, but I might use soft tubing, not 100%, but we'll go over that in another video. The temps have gone down significantly. I think I was like idling with a 240 AIO. I was idling like 50, 52, and now I'm down to like 38, 40. So I did get a decent decline in temperature, so that's a good thing. And plus it looks fucking dope as hell, man. I had like the tubes literally when I was doing the pressure check the first time, I had a tube that was just a little bit too short. This is another point that I wanted to get to. Don't cut your tubes too short. If they're a little bit too long, go sand it down just a tiny bit. Because if you cut them too short and you try to fit it in there, whenever you close that gasket down and you put pressure into it or water into it, it's gonna pop out of it. And it did it to me like 3 different times. So yeah, anyway, it's just a learning experience, you know what I mean? That's the cool thing about it. I like starting things for the first time, man. I'm excited about it. I think personally, you know, not toot my own horn, but I think I did an awesome job on this. So you guys rate it down in the comments. Let me know what you think about the build, what you think about the routes that I took in there. I didn't do anything too crazy. I wanted to have nice, simple, straight to the point routes for the tubes. And plus working with the 4090 in there, the Strix at that, which is the largest 4090, it was a little bit harder. So I had to get 2 different micro 90 angle fittings and then the regular 90 angle fittings to put in the CPU block. So the one that actually connects to the radiator was a little bit harder. I had to do that twice. The actual tube that goes from the reservoir to the CPU inlet, it was a little doozy, but I got it done the first try, thank goodness. The most I can say is just get you, like I know everybody says this, get you a couple tubes. It's like 14 bucks for 2 or something like that. But you can get cheaper tubing to practice on. Just if you're gonna use acrylic in your build, practice with acrylic. Don't go practice with PETG because it's a little cheaper and then try to do acrylic how you would PETG because it is a little bit different. I got the acrylic because it lasts a little longer and it doesn't stain as bad as the PETG from what I've read throughout the forums and watching people over the years do water cooled builds. A lot of people like it because it doesn't break as easy, but I don't know, man. I like the acrylic, dude. It's just like a little bit of a finer product, if you know what I mean. And another must-have thing is going to definitely be this guy right here, the little pressure gauge. So it's pretty much like any other pressure gauge you could pump pressure into or pump air into, but it has the fitting size end on it, so it kind of goes straight into the loop and it makes it airtight, and then you can pump it to the green and just let it sit there. I did wash the radiator and CPU block and the reservoir out with distilled water before I put it in there, and I got a couple chunks, not chunks, but a couple little bits of debris out of that radiator. So I'm glad that I did wash it out because that can potentially go through your loop and get caught up in the CPU block. But yeah, thanks guys for hanging out with me this long. I appreciate it. This has been a really dope process. I got another video coming in on the 4090 performance. I know everybody's done it, but I'm gonna do it in a couple niche games. We're gonna put Tarkov to the test, just a couple games that, you know, the major reviewers aren't putting out there for benchmarks. Anyways, getting off topic, and yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Hope you guys got a little bit of knowledge out of it. I know it wasn't a super tutorial or anything like that, but I just wanted to share my experience with you. Y'all have a great day. Until the next one, peace.